episode. Now, here is a good episode coming up.
This is like one of my favorite episodes so far.
Of all time.
Seems to be almost everyone's favorite episode.
Because it's just, the theming wise, they picked a theme and they stuck with it, and it was super fun, and like the black and white and everything else. Like
it was.
Because sometimes they'll start with something like, oh, we're going to do a game show for Halloween, and then it leaves and it never comes back around. But this is something that was solid writing, in my opinion.
This is written by Joseph Kohr. It's directed by Robert Radler. Now, this is Adam finds himself in a twisted tale of horror when he is chosen to save the world from the Machine Empire alone. This is the perfect Halloween episode.
It really is.
Power Rangers now should look at this episode as a blueprint to how to do good Halloween episodes.
Yes.
No flashback.
There's not there's not really
It's
any
not a flashback.
flashbacks.
It's a dream sequence.
Dream sequence, all in black and white. This is like classic Universal monster movie episode. And I thought
it was funny. It was genuinely funny with the names that they came up with, and like Temecula for Tommy or whatever. Temecula. And I was like, oh my god, this is super fun. And it's like, I love Adam. Like, he's so cute. And this is the perfect episode. And I don't know. Not enough good stuff to say about this.
Yeah, this is a great episode. Adam eventually he's in school studying late. A horror movie marathon comes on. He watches it, falls asleep at school. He ends up waking up. We're in this alternate reality or more dream sequence.
But we didn't really know.
We don't know that.
When Rita and Zed came originally, I was like, wait, what? Where have they been? Are they looking for Goldar and Rito? Because they've been gone for like months at this point.
They're like, oh, we left something back home.
Yeah, and it wasn't until it actually went into like the old school stories like Frankenstein, Dracula, and like.
That's when you're like, oh, okay. But yeah, before then you were just like, oh, it's gonna be like a really weird Home Alone.
Yeah, so then we get a lot of that, and then we end up in black and white. We get to see Tommy as a vampire. We get to see Rocky as the werewolf. We also get to see Billy kind of like Dr. Frankenstein.
Yes.
And Tanya was the bride of Frankenstein.
Favorite monster one right there.
And then
Tanya's was the best.
But Igor
Alpha was
Alpha
oh no, we had Ernie.
But I love how it's just like, oh, who could be Ernie? Ernie,
yeah.
you're gonna be Igor.
Who else did we have? We had Kat as a witch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Also, because it was weird because the whole thing I was anticipating for it to get to Kat because Adam has to collect these items from each of these characters.
A cat's
and when
eye.
they're like,
A cat's eye.
yeah, and I was just like, he's gonna spoon out Kat's eye.
Oh my god! A completely different show.
Yeah, I was thinking of like Kill Bill, and he's just like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh my god! Like I was actually like, this was like the most suspenseful Power Rangers episode too, because I was like, how are they gonna get Kat's eye?
Well, they also must have had so much fun doing this episode.
Yeah, because
they get to they get to play something almost completely different,
Oh yeah.
And it's like kooky, and like you're supposed to be kind of more theatrical and fun. So I feel like they get to break out and
It was cool because, like you said, more theatrical and everything.
Yeah.
Everything was bigger, and you could see that, and that's why I said I love Tanya's part where it was just she was all like, and all that weird like kookiness, and it was just like this is fun.
What's his name? Zordonicus?
Oh yeah.
Is it Zordonicus?
That does sound actually really familiar. I don't.
Zordonicus, and then there's like you said, Temecula.
Yeah.
All that. Oh man, I loved every bit of this episode.
I also like that Adam is put in a position where he has to choose another ranger to fight.
Yeah.
The monster. And he's like, what would Tommy do? He's like, Tommy, that's an excellent choice. Tommy's like, what is going on?
How did I get here? What's going on? And the monster's coming out of his
He's
tummy,
like, okay.
freaking out, like, oh, what's going on?
I just wish that part was in black and white too, instead of color.
See, and the thing is, it wasn't color. I was like, wait, is this actually happening?
Yeah, and I was
Or
like,
was
is
it-
this like a weird ploy or like some kind of thing by the Machine Empire to like?
Yeah, to really do. I was like, dude, I
If
don't
that
know
really
what's real
was
anymore.
Tommy, he must have been like, God damn it, Adam.
Right.
Why did you pick
Why
me
you
for this?
picked me?
But I like how like Zordonicus or whatever is just like, I heard a name.
He's like, I got a clock out soon. He's a big kid.
He was like,
Oh
he's
yeah,
taking too long.
and the cool thing too, another cool thing too that I really like in this is that the Machine Empire converges on Adam, and that's just the culmination of his nightmare.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, and then he wakes up, and then you realize that he's in a dream. I thought this episode was brilliant from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So good, and also I think it's a really well done episode to adapt it. This isn't like a Japanese version or translation. They straight up were like, hey, we're gonna do this American thing completely almost, and do it in our own way. And I think this is what sets Zeo away from O-Ranger, pretty much.
Well, because it becomes later a trend in Zeo. They tried to actually not depend on too much of the original Toei footage and go with what they were trying to do. So they'd be like, here's a little bit of a stock footage, but let's shoot a lot of everything here. And it was like, that was dope.
Yeah, and it's super fun where we get to learn kind of more, like, you kind of forget that they're high school students and that they have to study and they have a life outside of, like, fighting monsters. And, like, seeing Adam try to study and, you know, like, it's nice. It's kind of like a cool break where you don't need a lot of, like, monsters or fighting or any of that stuff, and it's like, oh, it makes you really care about them.
Pretty much they took later the comic book pretty much focuses and does the same thing, where it's like, don't forget, besides being heroes, they are also teenagers and they're going to school, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's like a slice of life within all of this action, which is cool.
Yeah. Oh man, Bulk as a mummy though, because like even in the beginning we're like, oh, can you walk us home? And they're like supposed to be the officers. I just think they're so cute.
I also think it's so fun that they use like. Even like Lieutenant Stone is in this episode in a different role, like, and Rocky's usually playing like a goof in this, like he's like trying to be the one that like guides these like dogs, right? Or he's like a was he like a detective or something? And then he's like trying to think, and then the moon comes out and he transforms into a werewolf. So fun, just a fun episode. So what are some highlights? You thought that Tanya was the best monster?
I loved it. I thought she was the best monster for me. It was just, you could see her really break out of the role that we're so accustomed to her being. Because every once in a while when you do see Tanya, you kind of equate her to, like, if you had to, X-Men animated Storm in a way, where she's sometimes seems so... Like,
very stoic and very, like I have to be the responsible adult and I can't have fun. So, yeah, you're right. Seeing her in this role is very good.
Just a complete 180. So she gets to really just spread her wings as far as doing it, which lends itself back to what you said, which is far more theatrical. Bigger as far as all of her movements and everything. It just looked fun, and it was great. And it was different from what she's accustomed to, so I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was super good. I feel like the weakest out of all of them was probably Kat, who's just like a witch and has like a little amulet on. I feel like they kind of ran out of steam. That was the only thing. That was like the weakest part of the entire episode, which I absolutely love. But I was like, you couldn't do something else, or maybe like maybe not make it a cat's eye, or maybe actually have like Adam at the end being like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to do this, I can't hurt my friends. It's like, I don't know you, or like have something.
She was gonna give her like a cat's eye marble, you know, like one of those. Oh, here it is. And oh god, I thought I was gonna have to, you know. And
also, brilliant choice by having Adam be the one that this episode kind of revolves around, because it could have been a completely different episode had that been Kat or Tanya or Rocky or even Tommy. So I think Adam was the perfect choice for
Tommy has way too many dream sequence fighting things. Like, that would have been super boring. I feel like Kat, too, doesn't have... Her personality in the show doesn't have enough to, like, do this. I feel like it would have been Rocky or Adam.
I think one thing we're also overlooking is what high school lets you spend the night, like, without getting, like, kicked out.
Well, I don't know what high school also allows you to hire junior policemen to take you out of school, like, every day.
Oh, that's
like,
right.
City even allows that to happen.
I know.
Sure, they can protect us. What?
I mean, they have other stuff. They're like, dude, there's monsters destroying everything, whatever. There are no rules in the city. It's a free-for-all. He wants to study. Hopefully, he'll study the monsters and one day learn how to destroy them permanently.
It's quite bizarre. But we do have a few notes. You called this the perfect episode, and it just might be because there are no errors.
Oh, wow.
Oh, bravo.
Because it's mostly American footage, too, so the continuity actually does match up.
Tommy is the only Ranger to appear morphed in this episode, and even then, this only happens as a part of Adam's dream, as due to the fact the O-Ranger episode was based off of the, which introduced only one Ranger of the 5-man squad instead of one large one. That was a leader, O-Red. So this was actually an O-Red episode that they took from O-Ranger, and it was Tommy's, or the Red Ranger's episode. This episode saw a VHS release on August 20th, 1996, prior to the first airing September 11th, 1996. In doing so, it used the original opening of the tape and reruns on ABC Family and Toon Disney, as well as Netflix and iTunes. The Bride of Hackensack is obviously a parody of The Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes.
The episode makes reference to many classic horror and fantasy movies, including The Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. This episode was dedicated to the memory of Carol Michelle Mickelson, a young fan with terminal illness who visited the set from the show when the episode was being filmed and sadly passed away just before it aired.
Oh.
Though he's only a dream monster, Drill Master will appear in reality as a previously destroyed monster rebuilt in Golden Homecoming, meaning that the Power Rangers destroyed Drill Master previously in an unseen battle. The original draft for the title episode was The Nightmare in Angel Grove. The episode, this episode is one of the rare times where the extended theme reappears after being shortened in Brother Can You Spare an Arrowhead. Those are the notes for this episode. Chat, what do you guys give this? And guys, what do you guys give this?
This one gets 5.
I agree. This actually is a really good episode. No, we already saw that it was a perfect one, so why not make it and give it a 5?
I agree. I'm also going to give it a 5. This is probably one of my favorite episodes of all time.
It's been the
All time!
It really is, though, because after, like, you know, we kind of talked about it before of how we kind of skip certain fight scenes because they do get a little repetitive. This is one of, like, the few episodes so far where it's like, I'm enthralled. Where, like, I don't need to skip. I don't feel, like, the desire. Like, just sit down for a solid 22 minutes of, like, old school Power Rangers.
Definitely.
True story. John Boy gives it a 4. Larry gives it a 5. Mikey gives it a 5. Layla gives it a 3.5. U.S. Dutch Kitty, 4. Blackwing, 5. Red Blue Blur, 4. Funny K Comics, 5. This is a best episode across the board for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with Power Rangers, which is, like, crazy. Like, I mean, it kind of does, like, a little bit, but, I mean, it's just kind of like a...
Yeah, and then after that, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it's not really, like, a monster fighting kind of episode.
Yeah.
The monsters are his friends.
This is one of the episodes where I was excited to talk about because as a kid, I loved it. So I wanted to see if it still, like, held up as being as good as it did, and it does.
Wow.
I think that's that exactly.
Yeah, same phrase, same thing. I'm thinking as a kid, 4. As an adult, 5.
Oh.
Like that's exactly what you're saying. It is true.
Because you have more references as you grow up, too. Like, you think it's fun, but as an adult, you're like, oh, man, they put a lot of effort and a lot of thought into this episode. And it's like, yes, if given the opportunity and the freedom to not have to work around Sentai footage, like, these writers can do amazing things.
Yeah, see?
So,
the whole time, it's just like...
Yeah, I really also like that they're experiencing, or not, maybe not experiencing, but they're writing the Rangers based on the people, and the characters have a lot of depth. Like I said before, Tanya has more depth in the small time she's been around than Aisha had, doing really anything. And I also think that they're writing two characters and not just to match up footage for something. So I think that's kind of cool.
yeah.